What we're going to do now is we are going to work with Photoshop in order to design our template. And so you'll notice that Amazon is going to give you a size template based on the number of pages and the paper color that you're going to be using to publish your book when you use Create Space. When you have your dimensions in there, you're going to click Build Template. So what you're going to do is you're going to download the zip file and unzip it, and you'll have a PNG file and a PDF in there. And then we can open up the PNG inside of our image editing software. What you're going to notice is that you now have some guidance on how to size your actual book and how to size what you want your cover to be. And if you know anything about working with Photoshop, what you're going to try to do is you're going to make sure that you stay within these lines, that if you're going to use the spine, that you get it inside of these areas, and that if you're going to use the back cover, that you design inside of here. And so what you're going to need to do is you can size this up and size this down so that you can design according to the dimensions that you have. So what we can do is we can actually add in our layer, and then we can pull our template or whatever we're going to be using for our book into these spaces. Now, before you actually lay out your book, you want to pay attention to what this information is telling you. For example, the black dotted line is where your book is going to be cut. The blue dotted line is where the spine is going to fold. So you want to make sure that you don't have any letters here because they're going to spill over there. The white area is going to be live, and that's what your customer is actually going to see. And then anything in the red is not actually going to be seen. And so you want to think through how you want your cover to appear. And this is easy to do in Photoshop. Or, of course, if you're not necessarily handy with Photoshop, you can actually have this done by someone. Right? So one of the things that you could do is you can actually design your template, and you want to design it according to the size. And you want to pay attention to the size of the entire PDF that actually comes out. Now let's take a look at how the image is sized. Now the image size is 3776 by 2775. So when you actually do a design, you want to pay attention to those dimensions. And so you've noticed that we have a template that fits in here, but if you wanted to design your own template, you would want to make sure that it fits into those dimensions. 3776 by 2775. And you can do that easily inside of Photoshop if you have some designs that you might want to either use or combine. So you would start by creating an image size or a new image that would be that size. You will want to make it transparent and then click OK. And we can actually size this down in Photoshop, and what we would be doing is we would be designing inside of this square. And as we design inside of this square, when we complete our actual template, that's when we take the template and we place it back on top of this one. And of course, we can just continue to look at this template as our guide. So there are two steps in the process. One, we want to find out what the image size is of the template. And all these templates are going to be specific because they're going to be according to how many pages our book has, as well as the actual size. So in this particular case, we're going to look at the image size. That's one step. And then we're going to create our template size, and we're going to create it in the size of that template so we can start to do our design inside of there. And we want to make sure that our image size is exactly that. And we can begin to do a design, any one that we want according to maybe some e-covers that we have. We put them inside of some layers, but we can begin to make this into what we actually want it to look like. So for example, if we have a flat design, we can actually take a look at this design and how it would fit into what it is that we're trying to do. And in Photoshop, we can actually size this design up. If we want to keep the aspect ratio, we can do that. And what you'll notice is that when we get Photoshop images, we can then begin to design it inside of the template that we're actually going to be using, and that's actually going to be on our hardcover book. Now, once again, if you're comfortable designing on Photoshop, this is something that you can do. You'll be able to handle this. Of course, this is something that you can actually start an intermediate step by having someone to design a template for you to fit your exact dimensions. So when you actually go to give someone on, let's say, Fiverr or some other design location, you can actually give them the dimensions of the image that you want them to have. Or you can start in an interim step. You can have them design a front pocket and a back pocket, and then you can fit it in. If you want to fit it into a specific budget, maybe you don't want them to design the whole thing. So there are lots of options once you understand how the template works inside of Create Space. Once you can get the sizing down, you can size it inside of a program like Photoshop. That's when you can start to use that latitude in order to have designers work with you according to your budget. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back. Now in this video, we're going to work with the images that we downloaded from Kunaki in order to form a template. Now, one of the things you're going to notice right away is that these images that we downloaded are probably not exactly to our liking in terms of the dimensions. So what we can do is we can take note of the size. In this particular case, you'll notice that this dimension is going to be 1394 by 1394. So we're going to take that dimension and we're actually going to go to our Photoshop and we're going to design something that's 1394 by 1394. And what we're going to do is we're going to open a new document and we're just going to make it 1394 by 1394. And we're going to make sure it's a transparent document. And so now what we have is we have the exact square that's actually going to be inside of our CD case or our image case. And this is how we want to design the actual template. What we've been doing is we've been stretching images to fit their template. Now, they've actually given us the size. Now that we have the exact size, we can use this to our advantage to have the dimensions look the way we want. And we're going to create different layers and we're going to create images that again are sized according to the way we want them to be sized. Now what we can do is we can pull an image into this square. In fact, we can go and get one of the images that are already here, already present, and we're going to paste that image in here. Now typically when we already have a Photoshop image, it's going to accommodate the format. And so what we want to do is we want to keep our aspect ratio, but we want to design this format and we want it to fill out the format in the way that we want it to actually look. Now again, what we want to do is we want to keep in mind exactly how this format looked. You'll notice how this looked inside of the CD, and we can then design our template in that same way, and we can make it so that it does not look stretched. And so what we're going to do then is we're going to now save this as the format that we actually have. And what you can see here is that when we compare the images, instead of having one that's going to be stretched, we have one that kind of fits the dimensions in the way that we want it to be. So we want to take the dimensions that CreateSpace gives us, we want to design a template, and then we want to draw the images in. And we want to draw those images in at the size that we want them to be so that they will not look stretched. So in each case, you're going to look at the size of the document. For instance, this one is 1500 by 2172. This one is 3236 by 2173. This one is 3236 by 2173. And so we can continue to design our templates according to these sizes, and then we want to then proportion them so that our images will look professional and that they'll be proportional when they actually fit inside of the case. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Now, once your work is up and running on CreateSpace, you will want to make sure that you connect to Amazon and get your Amazon Author Central account because of the marketing tools that it makes available. We're going to go inside of Amazon Author Central and take a look at some of these tools. Now, the Amazon Author account actually allows you to set up a profile that will allow you to share real-time information from some of your social media as well as your blog. For example, you can set up your blog's RSS feed so that whenever you update your blog, your Amazon Central account will be updated. Anytime that you have an event, you can actually do that event and you can update that event inside of your Amazon Author Central. Now, obviously, it should be connected to your book or whatever your subject is, but the point is that the platform gives you the opportunity to set events in front of the people who are going to be coming by looking for information on your topic. Now, the other thing is that you can actually add video to your Amazon Author Central account. You can upload 500 meg of video, and that's quite a bit of video if you want to do a profile or if you want to tell people about what you're going to be talking about in your books. This is a great place for you to be able to do that. Once again, Amazon Author Central is a great tool. Now, one of the other things that you'll notice is that Amazon Author Central is going to give you an author page URL. And you want to do what you can to try to claim your name in Amazon Author Central. You want to get your first and last name, and so that even if you're not writing at the time, you want to go in and try to claim your Author Central account as close to your name as you can so that you will always have the brand when you actually start writing. So simply just go in and add to each one of these sections, and you can actually fill up this section with everything that you're actually doing, and you can have all these things updating while you are doing them from the actual feed. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Hello and welcome. Now, in this first video, what we're going to do is we're going to download our video from the various sites where you might have actually shot it. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into YouTube, and you're going to want to go to your Creator Studio here. And then you want to go to your Video Manager. Once you do that, what you're going to do is find the video that you want to download. You're going to click this right-hand arrow, and then you're just going to click Download MP4 Video. You're going to download that direct to your hard drive. And then you'll just want to put it someplace where you know it's going to be. Now, you may be doing your videos or your webinars on Facebook Live, so we want to be able to do it from there also. So let's now go to Facebook. You want to find a video that you have already shot and done a training or webinar on. And once you find the video where you've shot live, you want to click on the date. That's going to expand it out to a bigger size. You're then going to go to this space where you see those three dots. You're going to see a link there that says Download Video. Go ahead and click Download Video. And then you want to rename it for your hard drive. Now, if you shoot video to an iPhone, you're going to want to go to your iCloud drive, and then you want to go to the Photos area in order to download that video. Okay, once you find the video that you want to download, all you'll need to do is to go to this cloud up there, click that down arrow, and then that's going to bring this file onto your hard drive. Now, what you may notice is that if you download a video from Apple, that video is probably going to show an MOV file. Now, in some cases, you will not be able to use that kind of video inside of your video editing software. And in most cases, all you'll really need to do is to change the designation of this video to MP4 in order for it to work. Now, it's going to tell you if you change a file extension, your file might become unusable. You might want to change it. In order to use Camtasia and some of the other Windows-based programs, this is going to always happen. So you want to make sure that you do this before you import that video into your video editing software. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in the next video.